Microphones. Hello. How is everybody today? If I do that, that comes off. Click that, that comes on. How's everyone today? Can everybody hear? That's okay. So can everybody hear me? And more importantly, can everyone hear?
Can everyone hear me?
Okay. I'm loud and clear, and Louise as well. Good. That's okay.
Great.
Do you know, where's the day gone? Oh, hang on. Got the cameras the right way around now. I can look at you down here. No, you look at me this way. Look at me now. Look at me. Oh, okay. Look at me. There we go. Look. See, it's in the camera. See? And there we go. You got it right now. I swapped the cameras around.
I think I preferred it when I had to turn on the other way.
This. Hello, Louise. How are you?
Okay.
Oh my gosh.
Good.
Right.
Yeah, I'm cool. Yeah, thank you. You can hear me.
Are absolutely doing this by the what they call skin of our teeth. Is that right? Yeah. We oh my goodness me. So we've got that's my close-up camera. Hang on.
What are you doing?
I don't know. I'm all over the look. I've got my close-up camera. I'm not even close-up. So we've got another camera now for your sheer delight. We've got a bit more of a close-up camera on the whiteboard, although it is not quite the right height. I'll put this onto Louise and I'll try and drop my camera a bit whilst you talk, Louise.
Shall I tell them the exciting news?
Louise, do we have any exciting news this week?
Well, it's funny you've mentioned that. We do. We have got...
Tell us the exciting news. Don't hold back, Louise.
Well,
please tell us. What is the exciting... Hang on, bear with me. Hang on, I'm going to pass you again. Hang on. There we go. Okay. We've got some...
You're spoiling the exciting news.
We've got some exciting news. I'm going to wipe this off. Go.
You're going to interrupt or are you going to let me say the exciting news?
Carry on.
Right. We've got some exciting news. Based on the survey, which everybody kindly completed for us last week. God, I can't even have 5 minutes, can I? Right, can I start again? Based on the survey that you guys all filled in last week.
We've got some exciting news for you today. Louise is here to tell us what it is. Come on, Louise, tell everyone. Tell everyone what the exciting news is.
You can tell the exciting news.
Nope.
I know what you're going to do.
I'm not going to say I'll do picture in picture.
No, I'm sorry.
not
going
to do
you're the exciting news.
No, you're
news.
the one who brings the exciting news. I'm the one who just bores people.
That's not true. But anyway, the exciting news is that we have got the first date and time for our live workshops.
Have we, Louise? Have we, Louise?
Yes, we have.
Please do tell us more.
So, based on the survey, which we conducted last week, seems the best day and time is a Monday afternoon. So, the best time for you guys was 2 o'clock, and the best day was a Monday. So, we've decided to go with the last Monday of every month at 2 o'clock. So that is going to be starting...
Help. Hey, it's a bit late, isn't it? Sorry.
On Monday the 29th of November, and then every last Monday of every month from then on in. So if you're a paid member of At The Bench or a full member, a gifted member, whatever, then this is already included in your membership. If you're not, then you can still join. You can buy a ticket.
£15?
I can't remember what
I think it was £15.
I think you keep changing it.
No,
but anyway, once it's done, it's done, and it's set in stone. Then can't change his mind anymore. But so yeah, we've got the 29th of November. We'll probably do the 20th of December rather than the 27th. So we'll be a week early in December, and then it'll just be the last Monday of every month at 2 o'clock British time, GMT. Every month.
Yeah, exactly. Dylan's just asking, is it for At The Bench members only? You guys, if you're an At The Bench member, will get it included in with your membership. If you're not an At The Bench member and you want to watch it, you can buy a ticket and it's £15. Can you watch it later? Says Jacqueline. Yes, you can if you're an At The Bench member.
Yep, and also if you buy a ticket, you can watch it again later as well.
That's exactly what I was going to come to.
Obviously, I thought you were going to forget about that, yeah.
And if you're an At The Bench member, it'll be on in with all the films, so you can watch it as and whenever you want to. And if you have paid £15 and watched it live, you can watch it on your own little membership, the workshop membership on At The Bench. And if you're not a member of At The Bench, haven't managed to watch it live but want to watch it, you can still pay and watch it within the dashboard at a later date, and it's there for an infinite amount of time.
Yeah, that's right. So it's going to be a lot more formal than the Q&As.
Yes.
For a start, we're not going to be rushing about going, oh my God, look at the time. We're going to be here, and it's going to be let's start work rather than chitty chat, which is great. We love to do, but I think, you know, you need value for money. So that's going to be demonstrations, learning, and a lot more of a structured approach to the session.
Yes.
So, yeah.
And it will be pretty much, if we're going to be making anything, we will let you know beforehand what sort of equipment and tools we'll be needing. If it's purely a technique-based workshop, we won't be giving you a tools list or whatever. If we're going to be saying about soldering, I'll explain when we're on about the tools and the things we're going to need, and it's just that would be a technique. But yeah, if we're making pendants or making rings or whatever it is, the tools list and a cutting list we will provide you, but we don't expect you to work along whilst we're doing it, do we?
Yeah, I was just about to say that. I would personally, I think I would probably watch it, knowing that it's available to me to watch again. You can ask your questions at the sort of defined question time. 'Cause what we found in the workshopy style, you know, with the soldering special, and it went on for a very long time, and it was just because I think we tried to answer all the questions all the way through and you kept having to stop. Yeah. So it's going to be a case of, if questions sort of go in during the demo, if it's a safety question, I'll try and ask it, but it just slows down. I think we'll just be there for days, won't we? Yeah. So we'll probably have questions, or we will have questions at a pre-defined time, won't we?
Yeah, so we're going to sort of like do like one stage, one section, and then stop, and then you can ask questions and we can answer them past 10, 15 minutes. Yeah. Then we can then crack on with the next section, stop, and so forth. Yes.
Yeah, and you guys can watch it and ask your questions, and then it'll be available later on as well.
The questions won't be available. And
well, if you're a member, you can ask questions on the forum. You can ask questions via the projects tab, so that's available to members.
Because at the moment now on YouTube, we've got the chat, and when you watch it back on YouTube, you will have the chat. But when it goes on At The Bench, there will be no chat. It'll just be the films, but the questions will be asked by yourself, and I'll be answering them. So in that respect, it still will be done. Yes.
There will still be lots of help available, though.
Absolutely. Anything else then, Lou?
I don't think so.
Okay, we'd love to see multiple finishing pom-poms and yeah, okay. So there's lots of techniques, and what we also want to do, we'll perhaps have a section within each monthly workshop asking you about the sort of things that you want to see. Because we can easily turn around and say, let's do this, let's do this, let's do this, but you may say, well, I don't really want to know about that. I want to know about this, and so forth, and we'll aim it directly at you guys.
Yeah, perhaps we should send some surveys out. Is that what you just said?
In one respect,
I was looking at my diary, sorry.
Yeah, so like at the end of each workshop, we're going to come along and just sort of say what do you want to see next, and so forth. Just let us know, drop us a line and that sort of thing. Yeah.
Throw us your suggestions. Oh.
Percy?
Yeah, I forgot my crystal I was going to show.
We did, we were in a rush this morning.
We were in a rush. We went to Hay-on-Wye on Saturday. I don't know why we went, just for a mooch about, didn't we?
Yeah.
And there's a lovely crystal shop in Hay-on-Wye, so we went in there, bought a nice piece of calcite, just because I like the look of it. And we found another crystal shop, which was the other side of town, and I'd never been there before. But how long had he said he'd been?
10 years, 15 years?
Yeah, many years. He started in America, didn't they? So a lot of their initial stock was brought over from there. And what a fascinating guy. So the shop was called
Hourglass?
The Hourglass Collection. And if you're in Hay-on-Wye, it's conveniently located up the road from the Three Tons pub, which is a lovely pub and they do great food. So up the road from there, it's quite an unassuming shop front, isn't it?
Oh yeah, absolutely, yeah.
With really fascinating things in the window. There's a big, I think there's a whalebone in the window.
Mammoth bone.
Mammoth bone, sorry, yeah.
Mammoth bone.
Yeah, and it's really, really cool.
Amazing.
And if you go in there and speak to Andy, he will show you all his favourite gemstones. He's absolutely fascinating. So do go in and have a chat to him and tell him Andrew and Louise said hi.
Absolutely. Really interesting guy. Sandra's asking, will it be available through Eventbrite? Yes, it will. So if you want to be watching these workshops, make an account with Eventbrite. Even though you can buy the ticket or you put in your coupon code to get the entry into the workshop for free, or you pay for it, when you go then to watch it, you then have to register, which will delay things. So your best thing to do is to go onto Eventbrite, register an account, so then there's no payment, there's no nothing at all, things like that. So when you then go to buy your ticket, or enter your coupon code to get it for free, if you're not the bench member, you don't have to go through any more steps. When the time comes, you click the link, you get straight through to us. Simple as that. How about that? Okay, should we do something that we're supposed to be doing? Does anybody else want to ask a question regarding the Q&A now, like the workshop before we start? I think that sounds about right. Everyone loves the idea. Cool.
Good.
So Louise, it's Monday, 15th of November. Where has the year gone? 5 weeks to Christmas. Eventbrite. I'm not quite sure. I would put .co.uk. I'm sure it's all the same, Joe, to be honest. Louise is just going to quickly check that up now. Eventbrite.co.uk, but I'm sure it's going to be the same whether it's the .com or .co.uk.
It probably just diverts you, does it?
Yeah, it does. It's the same. I think they must use the same database, and it goes from there. Okay, so Louise, it's Monday, 15th of November. Shall we have, 5 weeks only, 5 weeks to Christmas? Yes, Yuta. Oh. It is time for our question and answer. It is 4 p.m. It is now 4:15. Do apologise, been chatting. Let's have a question, shall we? Do you have your questions ready and waiting on there?
I've got a question for you if you want a question.
Go on, far away then, Lou. What is our first question, my dear?
Sandra wants to use sterling filings for texture. Do I need solder/flux, or will they fuse to the surface? Asked before but didn't do it, so forgot.
Yeah, we've done this sort of technique before. If you get your silver and you deplete the surface as if you're going to do some sort of reticulation, so you'd heat your sterling silver up, you quench it in your acid, put it in the water, heat it up, quench it in your acid, put it in water, heat it up, and you do that. You deplete the surface. You get rid of that very fine layer of copper on the surface, so it becomes fine silver. It then will melt at a slightly lower temperature than the rest of the silver. So I suppose, yes, what you could do is put some flux on the surface, put your filings of silver on the top, and hopefully then they will fuse. The problem that you may have though is that they may just simply melt into a little ball. Your best bet is to just do a bit of experimenting. You could put a bit of solder, but you don't want too much solder. So just experiment, get a small little bit of silver, nice big rough file to get all your filings off, put them on the surface, try it that way, deplete another section, try that and see what works. I cannot remember off the top of my head how I did it last time. Oh dear, never mind. So just have a go and let me know how you get on, Sandra. Louise, let's have another question.
Okay, Kristen is asking, can anything be done to fix a cabochon within its setting after completely setting it and realise it's clicking?
Clicking as in moving up and down? Sure, we can go to camera number 5. Look at this, close-up camera. How many have we got now? We've got 5 cameras.
It's a bit wonky.
The story of my life, Louise. So we did this sort of question last week. We had the cabochon here. We have our setting coming up on the side. We've burnished the setting and the cabochon is moving. Is this what you mean? It is still slightly moving this way. We did suggest putting hypo cement if you're in the UK, or I think it was it E6000, which is like a slight rubber-based cement, clear, and you get your finger like this. So here's your finger, yeah, here's your nail, here's your finger. Not quite that way, but there we go. You put a bit of glue on the end of your finger and you wipe it down. Yeah, here's your finger. and you wipe the cement into this gap, and that then will slightly fill up that little bit of a gap that hopefully will just stop that cabochon from sort of moving. I think if that's what you mean, you say it's clicking, either that or just get your burnisher on the edge of the, so say you've got your, say that is your edge of your bezel and you haven't got it quite right, perhaps get your burnisher at this sort of angle, okay? Here's the handle here, this is your burnisher, and burnish downwards, so you just bend over that little top a little bit like that. Okay, so don't bring the burnisher from the side and try and push in this way. Bring the burnisher down from the top and push downwards, and that will just burnish over that top edge a little bit, which may just take that nice and close onto the edge of the cab, and that should stop it from clicking. Louise, I think that's what you mean if you say clicking. Yeah. Crack on, Lou. What's another question?
Okay, Dylan is asking, when drawing out wire, should I anneal before every new hole, or can I do 2 or 3 holes? Also, is fast to draw better or slow draw?
Don't necessarily have to anneal between every hole. What I tend to do is step roll the end. So you've got your wire here, you step roll it so it's, yep, so you step roll the wire so it's like that. Yep, that then will pass through your draw plate, which is this way, like that there. Once you step roll it, and when I say step roll, I mean pass it through the squares of your rolling mill a little bit, bring it back out, turn it 90 degrees, back through the rolling mill, bring it back out. So you get these little steps like this on your piece of metal. Once you've done that, anneal this end, okay? Anneal the end, because you've actually work hardened it. If you put this now through your draw plate, your draw tongs, which are going to be sort of serrated there, so those are your tongs now, okay? They're coming this way. When the wire comes through, the little tongs cannot get a good bite onto this part of the wire because it's too hard and it's too annealed. So anneal this part and obviously the rest of it, then pass it through perhaps 2 holes, 3 holes, and what you find then, the wire won't go through the next lot of holes. So step roll it, the next section, anneal all the wire and carry on going through. It doesn't matter how fast you pull it through, but what I would always try and do is put a little bit of oil, okay, this is my oil, in this little area by here, just to aid the wire going through the draw plate, okay, like that. Or what you can do, and what I've done in the past, is got a bit of candle wax and just rubbed it on the beginning part of the wire, and as the wire then goes through the draw plate, the wire will heat up, it'll melt the wax, it'll coat the hole, and as the wire goes through, it should be going through nice and easily. Doesn't matter, you can do it slowly, you can do it fast, I don't think that really matters, but the important part is anneal it every perhaps 2 or 3 holes. Don't try and miss a hole, just go through all the holes nice and gradually. Good question, I like that. Next question, please, Louise.
Okay, Fiona is asking, please can you tell me the best way to get rid of excess flux on tools?
Flux on tools?
Excess flux on tools.
Why have you got flux on tools? Do you know? Flux on tools. Do you mean... Okay, so...
Susan's saying soak in household ammonia to get rid of flux.
You can do, you can always put it through the ultrasonic, and ultrasonic will get rid of sort of flux that you've heated up and is quite glass-like. You can put that in the ultrasonic. It is water admittedly, but that should then shake off all the flux. You can always tap it with a steel hammer. That will crush it as well, and then you can get a nice rough like an old file, just to clean it off the steel tools if you wanted to do it that way. Don't use a nice brand new file. Over the years, you're going to get files that are going to wear out. Don't throw them away. Keep them in the bottom drawer. Keep them out the way. And if you do need them for things like that, you can always bring those files out just to go over the old tools. A bit of emery paper, something like that should be fine. I think that's what you mean. If it isn't, just let me know. But I think that's what you mean, yes.
Okay.
There we go. Flying through them. Next
Great.
question, please, Louise.
Fiona's loving the shop. Thank you for my goodies received this morning.
Hey, good,
alligator
good.
tape works a treat. We got a funny story about the alligator tape, haven't we?
Do we?
Yeah.
What's your funny story?
Well, it's not actually that funny, is it? It's just a story. It's just, yeah.
Go on, tell us the story.
That,
Was I there at the time?
You told me the story.
Did I?
It's not actually that funny, so it's just when you have an online shop, you can link it to Facebook,
Oh,
so
yes.
that you can tag products on your Facebook shop. But Facebook thought that alligator skin was something
That was banned.
that was banned, so we had to change the name to alligator tape. But then Facebook had a big funny and decided that we couldn't use that because they decided it was medical and that we shouldn't be supplying it. But it's happened to me before on the retail shop, and I think I tried to put some earrings on which were like this, and Facebook said it was rude.
It was
They
obscene.
said it was obscene. Yeah, a pair of earrings. Well, I feel very sorry for Facebook if that's
Facebook
what they
employees think of
dirty minds. Yeah, a pair of earrings. Anyway, yeah, I'm digressing now, aren't I? But it did make me laugh.
Yes. So yes. And what else? I think there was something else also within the forum about Facebook, about Facebook pages and things like that.
Facebook social media chitty chat that we're that's gonna be on the cards. Yeah. So I know a few people were interested in a social media, kind of like I think we called it social media cafe, didn't we? And it was just. Just if you're an At The Bench member and you need some help with your social media or just some ideas. I mean, we don't know everything. We're not marketing experts, but we can help.
Yeah.
Yeah. So if you're interested, get in touch either via the forum or email me, and
we're going to try and sort something out.
Yeah, we're going to sort something out, even if it's just an hour, just to get together regularly and throw some ideas around.
Because this thing with the Facebook Pixel and the Facebook Business Manager as well. For me, it's just beyond my capability,
to be
my
honest,
thinking. But you're a wizard now, aren't you?
No, I wouldn't say that. I do. I kind of. It's constantly. It's like anything else, isn't it? You constantly have to learn to keep up with it because it's constantly changing.
Yeah.
But we can. We can certainly help. Sometimes it's just ideas, isn't it? Having ideas for content and things like that. Know do's and don'ts to maximise the number of people that Facebook or Instagram serves your posts to.
Amazing, because they will serve your adverts or your posts to a lookalike audience of people who have. It's just.
Yeah, that's quite cool.
Mind-boggling.
So we've got a database of customers who signed up to our retail mailing list. And you can take that list and you can say to Facebook, find me people who are like this. And it will, I don't know how it works, it just goes off, it does its magic, and then it just finds people who are like that.
Who are like,
like
your customer
I think
base.
it's whether it's things that they like, things that they follow, actions that they take on social media. So
it is absolutely amazing.
It is so clever.
Scary, absolutely scary.
Yeah. But clever.
Absolutely. Okay. Good. Should we have another question?
Yeah, I saw. Okay. Julia is saying, today I watched the At The Bench video about the Deathly Hallows ring, and it got me thinking. I made a Deathly Hallows pendant for my daughter a few years ago. Can I make them to sell, or will Warner Brothers sue?
Anything that is copyrighted, I wouldn't try and sell publicly.
Well, you shouldn't sell at all, should you?
Shouldn't sell at all.
Yeah.
Definitely Hallows pendant. Is that the one that's like that? Is it something like that? I can't remember what it is, but I have to admit I did something very similar for a customer quite a few years ago now. Similar. But don't get out. Don't produce it, because you will have solicitors' letters, cease or desist.
I've seen in forums where people have reproduce like Gucci bangles. I can't remember what it was, or was it Chanel or something? And everybody just
badges, wasn't it? Badges,
Yeah.
badges they were doing.
It was. I can't
just,
remember. I've seen it a few times, and it's just.
Yeah. You can't do it at all. It's not.
I think if it's for your own personal.
Yeah.
Use, but you can't profit from it. I
No,
think
as soon as you start to put it out there, I really wouldn't chance it. It's just far too dangerous.
Yeah.
Okay, Louise, let's have another question.
Dylan is going to finish his Byzantine today. Fab.
Ooh, nice.
Some more bits, so I like half an ounce or so of loops. Brilliant.
Wow.
Okay, that's exciting.
Dedication. I'm going to teach you how to do Byzantine.
Oh, I can do that, could I?
Yes.
Really?
But
I can't solder. You have to teach me how to solder
We're going to
first.
pack the links.
That's cheating.
No, it's not cheating. It's using technology as an aid.
I know, but I want to learn how to do it the hard way first.
We have to learn how to solder first.
Well, you'll have to teach me, won't you?
We'll teach you how to solder. That's coming up in a later at the bench. Let's have another question.
It's coming up soon. Andrew strangles Louise in a future video. Okay, let's have a look. Yeah, you can learn. I'd like to learn how to do it.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I've done it a little bit with the puck, haven't I? And it terrifies me. But here we are. It's another story. How far have we got? Let's see. Okay. Tiffany would love to see multiple finishing compounds and appropriate buffs for them, as well as intricate pendants with bezel settings and tons of intricate details on how to properly solder them all.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Yeah. Well, yeah, there's some soldering coming up without giving too much away. Stacey purchased an electric smelting furnace over the weekend. I also watched your video on it. You state in the video that borax is not needed to melt the metals. I was advised by the person I purchased it from to use borax when prepping the crucible for the first time. Is this necessary?
No. If it is a graphite crucible, whoa. Always scary when this goes off, doesn't it? And nothing comes up in the chat.
Happened. Something else creepy happened this week, but I'll see you
Really?
at the end.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh, but thank you very much if you, and it hasn't come through. Do it, Mrs. Lloyd, we know you're here. If it's a graphite crucible, you do not need flux or borax. Graphite is fine. There's no need to add any flux at all with that. If it is not a graphite crucible, and the graphite crucibles are the long grey, when they're new, they're shiny, they look like graphite, like a pencil lead. Don't put any flux in, it's not needed. Anything else, you would do. But if it's graphite, you certainly do not. That's it. Louise, let's have another question.
Okay. Rosie is saying, I will be setting a stone in platinum for the first time. Anything I should be aware of that's different from setting stones in gold and silver?
I do like platinum. It's like it's like a gritty sort of material. It doesn't, for me, it's when you pierce it and cut it, it sounds raspy, gritty. It's when you cut as opposed to when you cut through with other metals. So it's anyway, it's beside the point. So when you're cutting with a drill, please be careful that the drill doesn't get stuck inside the platinum itself. I would always get plenty of lubricant on it. Put it down into the hole. If you hear the drill drying up and it goes, stop, take the drill out, add more lubricant, put it back in. Because as soon as the drill starts to go, as it starts to go through the metal, the drill will snap. Take it out, lubricant, put it back in the hole, keep on drilling. Drill a little bit at a time until you get through. Same likewise with a burr, make sure you use plenty of lubricant. Sometimes the burr will chatter as it goes through the hole. Adjust the speed, make it faster, make it slower, experiment with that. The metal will not move like gold or silver. You won't be able to force over a lot of metal, so you have to be really, really precise with the size of the hole. Ideally, wrong camera, we haven't got 6, we've only got 5 today. Ideally, here is your metal like this, and you've drilled the hole through, you've used your setting burr. Ideally, your stone, yeah, is here. Ideally, the stone should be the same size as the hole. If it is the smidgest 100th of a millimeter, what I'd advise you to do is then get a 90-degree setting burr that looks like this. Okay, and then just make a little nick on either side of your hole so the stone can come up on the top and you can push the stone down and it'll click into the hole. But it has to be absolutely perfectly. If there is a gap between the edge, you know, you've got this and you've got a gap here, okay, the platinum will not really move over enough to fill that. So it has to be perfect straight away, no gaps at all. So make sure that you measure, make sure you use all the measurement tools to get it exactly right. Don't trust the burr sizes. If you buy burrs and they say 2 millimeter, don't trust it. Get yourself get yourself one of these, soon to be available on the At the Bench store, I have you know. Thank you to Louise for suggesting that.
Well, we use them every single day, don't we?
We do, absolutely. So get one of these, a digital vernier, okay, and use that to measure your burrs, use it to measure the stones.
You can use it to measure the dimensions of your pieces as well when you put them on the website if you have one, or Facebook.
Yeah.
They're really handy for that,
They are.
to measure accurately.
Yep, yep, and I think we've got the same ones. We've got the 4-inch ones coming in stock, £20, £30, something like that. In fact, we're doing them cheaper than Cookson. Just thought I'd tell you. I found a supplier, I can do them cheaper than Cookson. But
well done.
Thank you, that's another story.
Okay.
Oh dear. Oh, excuse me, let's have another question then, please, Luke.
Okay. Joe is asking about Bling. Did anybody finish watching Bling? We didn't. We completely forgot about Bling because we saw the first one. Andrew, be nice.
No one can see.
Okay. Whoops. The first one I was a little bit unsure of. Was it the second watch? Because Janet wanted us to watch it for the star bracelet,
yes,
which was gorgeous.
That was nice.
And I as I watched more of it, the more I watched of it, the more I liked. Well, we didn't see them all, did we? But the one we watched with who was the lady from the NAD who was on there?
Certain presenters.
She was fab. I really liked her, and I really liked the bench jewelers. I really liked the watch guy.
Watch guy. Yes.
Yeah. Anyway, we're not going to.
But we didn't watch it all.
We
only
watched
watched two.
That was the question, wasn't it?
But we did watch the one with the star bangle, didn't we?
Yeah.
And we thought that was very nice, wasn't it? That was really well done. And price-wise, on those sort of jobs, I think we were watching it, and I worked out roughly how many stones and what we would charge, and that was pretty much spot on.
Yeah.
So I'm pleased to say that worked
really
out
good,
well.
Isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
It gives people reasonable expectations, then, doesn't it?
It certainly does. What
Excellent.
can be done? Yeah.
Yeah. So
let's have another question.
I did enjoy that one.
Yeah.
Okay. And yeah, we need to watch some more of that.
Yes.
Okay, Susan is asking, how are briolettes attached in a capped setting?
Whoa. Martin, thank you very much indeed. Thank you so much. It's a real one this time. Thank you very much.
Something's flashing under there.
It does, the lights under there flash as well.
I don't even know there were lights under there. Thank you very much, Martin.
It all works today. Thank you very much, Martin. Okay, the question was, I can't remember what the question was now.
It was, how are briolettes attached in a capped setting?
So usually briolettes, there's usually a little hole through the top, like that, usually. And sometimes you will get oh my God, it's a terrible drawing, Andrew. You'll get like a fold over, like a cap like this, and sometimes there's a little peg sticking out that side and on the other side, so you'll have that, and you'll have little pegs sticking out, and you have a little peg sticking out like this. Yep, does that make sense? And then that goes over the top here, and there's your little peg sticking out here. and then that folds over. Come down here, you've got a little peg sticking out like that, or a little bit further. And then when you squeeze these together, the two pegs go into the hole, and so it'll cap it. It'll go into it. If you've got something like a cone, yep, like this, what I would do, I would put glue. I should put my other camera on. I would put a little bit of glue in here. So when you squash that over the top of your briolette, the glue will go into the hole and put it in place. So those are the different ways that you would sort of put a cap over the end. And I did see on the weekend, I'm not quite sure why I was looking, but I saw a briolette, and the wire comes through the briolette. That gets put into a little ring on the top. This comes up like this to, I remember, was it the top, and then the wire then was wrapped around and around and around and around and around, and it looked quite nice. So there we go. Those are the different ways that I would use to fasten a briolette. I do like briolettes. They're really nice. Sorry, let's have another question, please.
Okay. Francesco is saying Petrobond versus Delft clay.
Oh, it's Delft clay every time.
Is it worth the price difference?
No. Yes, definitely. Petrobond is okay. Okay, if you're using it for things like engineering, making up things that doesn't need an awful lot of detail, Petrobond's fine. I've used both. Petrobond is a lot more coarse. They said you've got to hammer it more so into the mold, but to be honest, the detail it's not there. It's like using, I don't know, fine as opposed to coarse. Delft clay is fine sand. I couldn't quite think of anything to go with that then. I was just trying to think of things like, it's like using Rice Krispies or Shreddies, isn't it, if you're in the UK? Rice Krispies are finer, Shreddies are big, coarse. So your Rice Krispies are your Delft, your Petrobonds, your Shreddies, I mean, you know what I mean. So I would always, me personally, I would always spend the extra and buy Delft clay. And the reason being is that if the surface is a lot finer and more delicate, you're going to have less cleaning up to do, and you're going to have a better, finer detail with Delft clay than Petrobond. So for me, it is worth the extra money. I've got both, but don't like using Petrobond unless I'm doing some very rough sort of castings. But anything fine detail, Delft clay all the way. Oh, yes, Debbie, another question, please.
Okay. Janet is saying, with earring wires, what is stronger / better balling up? Filing flat and soldering, or drilling a hole and soldering the wire in?
I don't think it really matters too much. It depends on the wires. If you're using commercial made wires, they are only a set length. So in that case then, yes, I would drill a hole about 0.5 millimeter, because your wires are 0.8 and they're usually about 9 mil. You may be able to get like 11 millimeter ones, but if you drill a hole, put them in, and then you can solder, you have a nice lot of solder. If you're making up wires and the wire doesn't matter, I would ball the end of the wire, because then if you then cut across here, you've got a nice large surface area to solder as opposed to that. We are commercially making some earrings for our Welsh range. We've made some earrings and we're using commercially available wires. Why? Because they come very neatly with that little groove upon the top. It saves us a lot of hassle. I think they're about 8 or 9 millimeters in length. So what we have done to ensure that the ear wire gets put on the same point on every single pair of earrings, and we've got heart shape like this. I have simply drilled a small little blind hole in one particular spot by there, so I know the ear wire will go into that spot every single time in that same place, and then that has a little hole in it like this, so the wire will go in when we come to solder.
Unless I file it away.
Unless Louise files it away. we should have done that. We should have done that on the daffodils, shouldn't we? And put them right in the middle as well.
They put
we can't.
sprue.
Sprues in the back, yes.
Yeah,
exactly.
But that might be...
If the sprue does go on exactly where that is, yes. So that, if we're using commercially available wires, that is the best way of doing it. If you're making the wires up in an unlimited length of wire, bore the end, file it, you've got a bigger surface area. Absolutely.
Okay.
So another question, my lovely.
Okay, Davin got a little girl on the way. Congratulations.
Oh, congratulations.
Trying to teach myself a useful skill. Fell in love with stone setting and I'm looking really hard for a jeweler's bench and microscope. Could anyone help me here? If anyone can help Davin, pop it in the chat, please.
If you want a good setter's bench, good setter's bench, and you want to buy a good one, you want to spend a bit of money.
I don't think Davin does. I think Davin just wants something to start off with and just to get going with. Yeah.
Okay.
Excuse me.
You okay?
I'm fine.
Get yourself a jeweler's bench. Get yourself one with a front so you can put on your dovetail plate on here. Or get one with a lower shelf that then you can put your GRS ball on it and then get your microscope. Yes.
Dylan built one from free furniture and pallet wood. That's the thing. If you can be creative, resourceful. Thank you. That was what I was looking for. Then fabulous.
So definitely, what I would suggest you do.
And it's completely made for you, then, isn't it? It's exactly what you need.
Yeah. Go on the internet. Go onto the internet. Look
that internet.
Got that thing they call the wobbly. Go onto Jura. Yeah. Stone setter, Netherlands. Have a look at his bench. It is an absolute awesome bench. Expensive. Okay, but see how it's laid out. See the position of things, and see how you then can adapt what you've got to that particular type of bench. In theory, you should have a separate setter's bench to a normal jeweler's bench, because the center section should be set lower, so your arms can be resting on the lower, and then you have your microscope. So go and check out Jura and just see his type of bench, and just have a look on the internet for setter's benches, and then sort of customize what you've got.
Dylan, will you please send me a photo of your bench to show?
Yeah,
or if you don't want me to show, obviously, then tell me. But I'd love to see of how you've set it up and what you've done. And if you're happy for me to show everybody, then
please do.
I'm sure that'll be really useful.
Yes.
Yeah.
Nice.
Okay.
Let's have a look.
We should send a photo of your bench downstairs.
No.
Okay, enough said about that.
It works. This is a lovely bench. This is a nice bench, even though I did burn it.
It's funny. I was talking to Kenneth about your bench this morning.
Yeah.
Because he sent me a picture of his bench and said that it was a mess, and I was like, "That is not a mess. That is a really tidy bench. This is not Andrew's bench."
This bench is my lovely bench. Literally within a day of me having this bench, I burnt it. As you can see, it's by there. I burnt it. I tried to rub it back, but it's still there. But that's the whole idea, is benches are meant to be used. This we use here. Louise is actually sitting on another jeweler's bench, and she doesn't know it.
No, of course I do. I know a jeweler's bench when I see it.
But that's the Durston adjustable one that goes up and down. It has the plate in. Does it actually have the dovetail plate in the middle as well?
Yeah.
It does, yeah. So that has dovetail plate as well. But downstairs is the benches that I made when I first started 35 years ago, a double sheet of plywood. And
but it looks like you could literally tap it like that and it would collapse. But it's as solid as an ox, isn't it? Because the other day, what were you doing? You were, I don't know what you were bashing hell out of something anyway, and I felt it with my ears. But yeah, it's just...
Oh, it's like bits of 4x2 and it's just literally screwed through the top into the wood. There's no. I wouldn't win a prize for woodwork for that bench.
It's not
I can tell you.
No, it's just it's functional.
I have become better in my bench building skills, like the benches in the front room. They are nice. They're built on a framework, and there's a beechwood bench put on top, and they're quite nice.
But then it's like, so you've got to use it, you've got to enjoy it. It's not to be kept nice, is it? I sat there the first 5 minutes, I put a blooming, what was it?
Archimedes drill through the top, yeah. We won't go into that, should we? Let's have another question, Lou.
Okay. Let's see. Victoria, set my first faceted oval stone, created a bezel setting using my burrs. When I went to fit the stone, I cracked it. Oh, it's so easily done, isn't it?
Yeah. Because
it's like me and those agates.
Yeah. But it happens to the best of us, because we were chatting to We were chatting to Lee from All the Glitters. And he was setting this amber, wasn't he? Mm-hmm. Someone gave him a piece of amber, and he was setting it, and he put it in this like a tomahawk that we cast for him, and he thought, oh, it just moves. So he just went to push it down on the one edge, didn't he, with his finger, and the amber snapped.
So easy
It
done,
is so easy done. I always say, how many times I've said it on this Q&A, if it's just right, and then the stone moves, or there's a bit of a gap between the claw, just stop, just don't do it.
But you don't need to take your own advice though, do you? You're the world's worst. The first time I've heard you go, oh, bugger.
But no, I do. I've been pretty good recently. I just hold back now. I just hold back. Anyway, let's have another question.
Remember that emerald? That we had to reorder 3 times because the first time went flying across the workshop and vanished forever.
Yeah, but that emerald had to match with the rest of the emeralds in the ring.
It's so funny. It's not funny because it was the customers.
The emeralds in that ring were absolutely shocking. We went up to Ward's to get some to match, and he said they're just terrible. So obviously we had terrible stones to match the terrible stones that were in it. They were so horrible, nasty, and included, and everything else. You only just had I think I just glued it in place in the end.
Oh,
no,
Andrew!
I did set it, but I held it in place with a bit of cement just in case. Let's have another question, Lou.
Oh dear. So yeah, don't take it too hard, Victoria. Okay, Emma is asking about hallmarking. Conscious that post-Brexit means that British hallmarks are not recognised in Spain. Is it possible to use a Dublin hallmark? Ooh, that's a bit specialist, isn't it?
I really don't know.
Oh, I love how YouTube thinks that cleavage is a dirty word. Okay, because we've got a bit of a hallmarking dilemma. Well, not a hallmarking dilemma.
Yes.
We've got a bit of a hallmark. In fact, I don't know if anybody knows the answer to this, but we've got a Welsh gold ring. It's pure Welsh gold.
Yeah.
And it's hallmarked, it's stamped Welsh gold with the Welsh gold trademark, which is now obsolete, isn't it? That company,
it seems like it's dead,
we know it's pure Welsh gold, which is going to be refashioned into Andrew's daughter's wedding ring. Yeah. And it really matters to us and to her that it's marked Welsh gold. But we've approached one of the assay officers who have said they can't verify the fact that it's Welsh gold. So they can't mark it as Welsh gold. They can hallmark it, obviously, for its fineness and everything else, but they can't
put the word Welsh gold
on it. So does anybody know of any work around that? I don't know if there's a different office that would maybe be able to help.
Have you had a reply back from the assay when we asked?
No, I don't think so. I'll double check anyway, but I'm sure I haven't. But
okay, because Clog Eye do state that their pieces have been verified by an assay office that they do contain Welsh gold.
So how is that different to any other?
We approached Birmingham and they said there is no way to ascertain if there's any Welsh gold in it. Now, it's interesting. 2 different assay offices say 2 different things.
I mean, how could they tell that it was?
But this is it. This is the thing. Is it there's a spectroscope or something that will actually analyse the bits of gold that are in it, and the gold is very specific in its makeup. So that should tell you from which part of the world it comes from. Welsh gold will have a certain makeup. Gold, say, from South Africa will have another different type of makeup.
Oh, so it is chemically different?
Yes. Yeah,
Okay.
there is something within
Do
it.
you know what? I've just realised we've completely skirted around Emma's question. I'm so sorry, Emma. I've just ignored your question and asked my own. Right, back to her. Conscious that post-Brexit means that British hallmarks
We
are not
don't know
recognised in
about
Spain. Is
Dublin,
it
do
possible
we?
to use a Dublin hallmark?
We don't know. Dublin. We don't know. You'd have to approach Dublin Assay Office then, just to double check and make sure and see if that is the case. We know now when we buy items from Germany and from Italy that they have to be hallmarked now that we are not in the EU, and it has to go to the Netherlands, was it?
Yeah, Germany gets bypassed there, and then I think it goes back to Germany and then comes back to
us. So yeah, it
so
does
it goes like halfway around the world before we get it.
which is not good for the carbon footprint of those pieces, is it?
Not really, no.
No, so I think something may have to be done there. Let's have another question. So I do apologise, we can't answer that one directly, but do approach your local assay office or the Dublin assay office.
Kristen is saying, could provenance play into the authenticity of the source of the gold?
Well, the ring...
That's what I hoped. I hoped the fact that it was trademarked.
Yeah, the ring has it on it.
The problem is it's too bulky for Grace, isn't it? Because she's very slender and she doesn't want anything too heavy. So the only way to get a good result is melting it down, isn't it? Otherwise she's going to have a ring that she doesn't really want, and she's going to wear it every day for the rest of her life. And also we're going to be cutting off an awful lot of it and resizing, taking an awful lot of gold out of it when really it should stay in there. Yeah. So even though... So if anyone has any ideas, please.
Yeah, even though it does say Welsh gold within the band that's been applied by the people who made it all those years ago, we looked at the trademark. The trademark is now dead, which means that someone can come along and trademark it, unless something has been put into place that won't allow you to do it, but the assay office will not mark it. I suppose...
Understandably.
I suppose why can't we tell the assay office, you've got the Welsh gold, you melt it down, you make it back up, you know that it says Welsh gold, so why can't you put the Welsh gold if it hasn't left your site?
Because they can't... How do they know where the Welsh gold mark came from in the first place?
Well, if it's trademark, it should be from the company that's trademarked the Welsh gold and has...
So we need to find out where it was trademarked, which office trademarked it then. Okay.
Perhaps,
anyway, we can do this later.
We digress. Very quickly, Cedar Tree 1325. Can you recommend a good pair of magnifying headset? Yes, I can. Donegal, not Donegal. That's a place in Ireland. Donegal Optivisors. You've got to get yourself a set of these. We should get these in the store, shouldn't we? Because we use these all the time. So yeah, definitely get a pair of these. A number 4 is what I use virtually every single day. You can put these on your head, just drop them on top of your head, bring these down. You can use them, flick them up when you're talking to a client or a customer. Definitely, Donegal Optivisors, get yourself a set.
Okay.
Sorry.
Susan's saying, cut out the mark and resolder. It's too wide.
Yeah.
Could an auction house authenticate and give you a certificate of provenance? Ooh.
Well, we've got the ring that says it, haven't we?
Yeah, we can look into that anyway. Yeah, thank you guys. Ines is asking about salt and pepper diamonds in rose cut seem to be very fashionable. Are they cheaper? Yes.
Yes.
And do they have the same qualities, hardness? Yeah,
yes,
I would think so,
because
hardness
diamonds.
is a surface property, isn't it? So it's,
We got, I don't know where my salt and pepper diamonds are.
Same as gem box.
Are they?
Yeah.
How long have we had that? Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How do you feel about salt and pepper diamonds?
I do like the look of them.
Yeah?
I got some lovely ideas. Don't have time, just have the time to do it.
Okay.
Guess another question.
Carrie is saying, does a silver item which has a small amount of gold on it need hallmarking?
It's a mixed metal. This is the... I think if the piece of gold that is on it is above 1 gram, yes, it would do, and then you'd have to have the mark put on as for silver and for gold, if I remember rightly. If it's less than 1 gram, you would not necessarily need that item to be hallmarked, and less than 7.78 grams of silver, you could just simply stamp it. Marcia 3. I'm glad it's Marcia 3 and not Marcia now.
Yeah, Marcia changed it so that
Thank you, Marcia.
so when we search for things that she said, it takes 3 times as long. But yeah, thank you, Marcia.
Yes, I've done a good optimizer. Yeah. Thank you for the consideration there.
I know, bless her.
So that's what I would suggest.
Okay, great.
But yeah, small amount of gold, you're okay. If the gold is over 1 gram, you need to have it done, and then have it marked as mixed metals. Go.
Okay. How far did we get? Lots of help for Victoria with the setting. Thank you, guys. Janet has a Frankenbench. It's an IKEA table. I like it. Old desk from a high bed and next door's old kitchen table. Fab. Sounds like yours.
It sounds better than mine, to be honest.
Martin is asking, when bezel setting a rose cut stone garnet, should you start setting from the edges or from the centres of the facets?
A rose cut. I would start from the corners or from the edges or from the pointy small radius and work towards the bigger sides. So what's that?
Should you start from the edges or from the centres of the facets? The edges of the facets or the centres of the facets? Should you start setting from the edges or from the centres of the facets?
Of a rose cut? I do have a bit of a mental block on this.
Is it? I thought they were round with.
Okay, so if they're like very simple 8.8 cuts, something like that, 8 cuts, 16 cuts, something like that, Lou.
Yeah.
Okay, if the stone is big enough. And they are, for argument's sake, I just saw one then, Louise was just looking up, and they're like faceted like this. If you do start here and you go towards the edges, these edges may lift up. So perhaps if you're going to bezel set, perhaps bezel set these areas first, where these marks are, and then work towards...
So just that set points around the stone then,
I would do that, yeah. If the stone is big enough. If the stone is tiny, I wouldn't worry too much about it. Yeah. And if that is like that, and that is the table on top of there as well, yeah. If it's big enough, do that. If it's only small, you're not going to worry too much about that at all. There's my camera, get that up on top of there for you, there we go. So yeah, big enough, do it from those points there on the angles, just where the facets join. If it's small, don't bother. Let's have another question, please, Louise. Wrong camera. Oh, I got 4 and 5 coming up in here. That's cool. How did I do that? There we go. Sorry. Let's have another question, please, Louise.
Yes. Stuart is asking, is there a diameter / limit where you would choose a tube setting rather than a bezel setting?
Depends on the size of the tube, I suppose. Depends on the size of the tube.
So is there a diameter / limit?
Whatever size tube you can get. I don't know what size
is that
tube.
all you got, is it?
Yep, whatever size tube you can get. If you can get a big, massive tube, crack on and do that. It's going to make life a lot easier because you're not going to have any solder joints in it. You just got to cut off a section. So, you know, if you can get a 6mm tube inside diameter, but can't get anything more, and you've got an 8mm stone, but then you have to make a bezel for the 8mm stone. You've got a 6mm, and you can get 6mm tube. Grab yourself a 6mm piece of tubing. Make your life so much easier by buying the tubing where you possibly can. Let's have another question, please, Louise. You've been so busy.
Okay. Michael, I cracked a diamond during my first attempts at settings. It was a princess cut, but only had 3 complete corners. The last one was just cut short, and that's the one I applied pressure to. That end crack.
Tricky things, princess cuts.
Yeah. Okay. We done the magnifying headset.
We did. I jumped the gun there.
Yeah, good, good. Let's have a look. Marcia has inherited a chain. White metal, stamped 18 carat on one end and Italy on the other. But when I viewed with Optivisor, the metal looks like it has super tiny pitting all over it. Any ideas what this is?
Usually they are plated. This is the thing, we get an awful lot coming in through the shop, don't we? We get an awful lot coming in. I had one in last week. This guy had bought a tanzanite pendant and had authentication regarding the stone, and it was on a nice, gorgeous, like a very stylish contemporary pendant and a nice braided chain. He wanted to sell it, but the chain and the pendant, as you say, were literally stamped. This was stamped 18K, just stamped, which doesn't, in this country, in the UK, doesn't mean anything, and anybody can stamp anything on a chain and then try and sell it as what you stamped it as, which is completely wrong, immoral, and illegal, and all those sort of things. So you've really got to go with your instinct. Definitely get yourself a little set of acids, a Troy acid testing kit, and there's 4 little bottles of acids in it, and from those 4 bottles of acid you should be able to ascertain what metal your necklace or the ring or whatever it is you're testing should be, whether it's silver, whether it's a base metal, whether it's a low carat, medium carat, or a high carat. So definitely get one of them. If it looks pitted, there must be a reason why. Perhaps it is plated and they've just stamped 18K on it to sell it. And a lot of people do get caught, don't they, when they're on holidays and they get approached by men on the streets wanting to buy these chains. They're stamped 18 carats and it's not. Yes, I do. Yeah. You're looking at me going.
It didn't happen to me. I don't know why you're looking at me.
I'm not. No, but I'm just saying. But these are the things that happen. These are stories that happen. People get taken in by the stamps, and they say, "Oh, it must be gold." It says 18, but not necessarily. So no. Double check with an eyeglass, like you say. Perhaps get a little file and just file a section that is just hidden by the clasp or on a jumping that's hidden, and just have a look and see what colour that metal is underneath. And if you've got yourself some acids, test that little section with your acids and you should soon be able to learn and tell what that is. Is that another question?
Sorry, Firebird, I'm so sorry, lovely, I missed your question. Delft casting a 6.5mm seashell. How can I form pore channel large enough without damaging the cast? How can I form pore channel large enough without damaging the cast?
So if you've got like something like a 6mm diameter stone void shell, have your sprue that wide, and the section through the rings, if you're going to be doing it, you've got this is going to look like a pile of poo, but it's not. It's not. It's not a pile of poo. That is my shell. Yeah, so that's my shell, and this diameter here is 6.5. Okay, so that's the. I should have done it this way around, really, shouldn't I? Okay, so here's the shell. I'll do it that way around. Okay, so that's your shell. You've pushed into the clay. This diameter here is 6.5. If you have a sprue and you're putting the sprue on top, obviously, and you put the next ring on top, can we get this on the camera? Yes, we can. So here's the other mold you've put on top. You have the sprue 6.5mm, and here's the rest of it, like that. So when you pour the silver, it'll go straight into it. Yeah, 6.5 should be fine, providing you don't have your pouring channel here and you have this going down, and then you've got your shell, because that's going to be far too narrow for the metal to come in. It's going to solidify here and never reach the shell itself, but that should be fine. 6.5 should be fine. Make sure that the pouring channel goes literally straight into the shell and you don't have too much of a long thin sprue, and you should be fine with it.
Okay.
Let's have another question.
That's it. There's no more.
I was going to say, we need one or
beat
two
the
more
questions.
questions. What we got to the end today.
We have, yeah.
Wow.
Sandra's saying there was a heavy-hitting Tanzanite salesman on a cruise ship I was on once. I think the stones were real, but he seemed really smarmy.
But this is it, and I thought it was rather strange because we had the Tanzanite, the gorgeous Tanzanite pendant, but it was like a very, very white plated pendant on a chain. And what I thought was strange was, again, another.
We didn't test the Tanzanites, so we can't. They looked like Tanzanites, but
they had their certificate of authentication.
Oh well, they must be real. Then.
And you said, Andrew, how do you know? Well, it said Louise. It just said it had that on the.
Said on the certificate, Louise.
But I didn't buy it off him. And the other one was a bracelet, like a tennis bracelet, and it had. I thought it was strange because the first link and the last link were gold, and all the other links in between, like a tennis bracelet, was all white metal. And I thought, that's really weird. And I asked the guy, why is there a gold top and bottom where the clasp comes together? He said, I've noticed that before. But then when I had a look at the certificate of authentication that was valued at $10,000, it said gold and silver. And it had all silver links joining up, which I thought was rather strange.
It's weird. It's like that jewellery I was bidding on yesterday, though, and it's supposedly emerald.
This is your new pastime, isn't it, Louise?
And ruby in silver.
Oh,
and
David.
It just seemed odd to me that...
Hey!
Oh,
thank you, David.
David.
Really do appreciate it. Emails, your Frankenbench to you.
Oh,
thank you,
Audrey. Oh, fab.
Haven't touched your pin yet. That's fine. We'll have a look. Thank you very much, Audrey, for that. Do appreciate it. And thank you, David,
Thank you, guys.
for the money. Do so appreciate it. Thank you very much. But yeah, this is
missing London Bridge for sale. I have the certificate.
But yeah, Louise's favourite pastime now is auctions. Jewellery auctions.
I just like looking, don't I? Just think.
Yeah, you do.
But yeah, I bid on a
good.
few items and I missed out because I started doing a bit of work last night, didn't I? I started putting some adverts out and then I realised like 20 minutes after the auction ended that I was pipped, wasn't I?
By £2, something like that.
How annoying. So, but yeah, that's the same sort of thing. I'm interested to see because I did win a pair of ruby earrings. So,
we'll have to see, won't we?
Yeah.
Question right at the beginning about the best pendant motor drill for
Tanya,
beginner.
I'm sorry, I didn't. I think we missed some of the questions at the beginning because.
So Tanya, a pendant motor is for life. Okay, so grab yourself your piggy bank and just save money in your piggy bank and get yourself a good one, okay? Don't necessarily go for a really cheap one.
Micromotor.
We'll come to that. Buy yourself a good one. I would always recommend. I've got some. Like we must have about 5 or 6 altogether here that we use on a day-to-day basis. We've got one called Seco. We've got one called a Milbro. I've had them for years and years, and they are brilliant. But I would hands down always go for a Fordham SR. Okay, it's got a blue label on this one because this is the 240 volt. If you're in the US, this label would be blue. Go for the SR. Don't necessarily go for the LX because there's a little trick on At The Bench shows you to reduce the speed. It's got a forward, it's got a back. The foot control is super smooth, and you can go from very slow to very fast. They're not cheap. In the UK, they're about £280, but you buy one, you will have it for life. So make sure that you do get yourself a good one. If you do have a Dremel, you can always get the little flex shaft attachment to the Dremel, but it does have its limitations, and I wouldn't really go down that route if you're starting off. But get something like this. It's brilliant for polishing, for drilling, for grinding, for texturing, for sanding. You can use it, and you can use them all day long. They have a huge longevity. The brushes are the only things that you need to look at every about 40 hours of continued use. What's that? A couple of years. You may need to replace the carbon brushes, but you can buy them for about £10, £15 and replace them in 5 minutes. Simple.
I'll get a micromotor.
Or Louise wants a micromotor, and we're still working on that.
Not for Christmas or anything.
You are joking me. That's something else I was going to buy you. Oh, I don't want that for Christmas.
I just find, because Jason's got a Fordham, hasn't he? So when I sit on his bench, I bench hop. I haven't got a bench of my own. So I don't know. I just find it cumbersome. But that's just because I'm new.
It's this, isn't it? This bit gets in the way, and it's.
To me, that's weighing me down from the back. I can't explain it. I just feel like I've got to rest my hand up there. I don't know. I don't feel very anchored, but I suppose that's just the fact that I'm new and I'm not very experienced.
We'll get one.
Really? Are you all my witnesses now?
No, we've got our. Oh, did we tell people?
Tell people what?
About Stan.
Yeah,
we did.
Week, yeah.
We did tell people about Stan. Stan did get in contact. Stan won his prize, and we've announced the other prize. I can't remember who the person was.
You didn't tell me.
Nova Scotia,
oh.
Canada.
Wow.
Yes, so she won. She came back. We've got that all sorted out as well. And this month, if you're an At the Bench member, the membership. You'll be entered into a draw to win a Benchmate system, and I'm trying to work on for the month after. I'm trying to get us a nice couple of Fordhams to give away as well for December. What's happening here on the chat at the moment? Someone gave me an SR, but the slowest speed is quite fast. Worried it might be a Chinese fake. Yes. Thank you for trying to help me out. I know I've emailed Dublin Asset Office and we'll share my answer. Please, Emma, yes, that would be really good if we could find out exactly what's going on with that. It's an older form. Can you pass me over that plug over there, please, Louise?
This one?
That one there. Yes. What
is it?
If you're finding that you have a Fordham or any flex shaft that runs too fast when you put your foot down on the pedal, and it runs too fast and you're afraid that it's going too fast or it's going to ruin your hammer handpiece, grab yourself one of these. This is a plug-in dimmer switch. Okay, so the idea is you plug that into your mains. Obviously this is for the UK, it's got 3-pin. Plug that into your mains, plug your light into this here, and you can turn the dimmer switch to alter whether your lights are bright or whether you're dim. Not your dim, but the lights are dim in between. But you can also use this with your flex shaft or your pendant motor. You can plug your flex shaft into here, plug that into the mains, and you can adjust the rheostat that is on the top here. You can see I've marked it off there. So when you put your foot down on the pedal for your flex shaft, it will not do 20,000 revs. It only will perhaps do 10,000 or 5,000 or anything in between. Great way to stop your hammer handpiece being ruined. Yes.
Good. Jimmy is saying crucible questions. Did I miss a question? Sorry if I did. Was it your question, Jimmy?
We answered a question regarding graphite crucibles.
Oh, were you mentioning it? Graphite does not need flux.
Yes.
Crucible question. Okay, so I didn't miss one. Okay, that's
graphite does not need flux. That's right.
Good. Sandra, can't wait to hear how you like it, Louise. I found my Fordham a little cumbersome too. Yeah, I think it's just because that's all I do is polishing, isn't it? That's why I want to learn. I want to learn something else.
Yeah.
So like I'll be using it for like hours at a time, won't I?
Yeah,
so
you do.
That's all I'm allowed to do.
No, it's not all that you're allowed to do. You've got to learn. You can't.
I know.
You can't. I know you jump and hop between benches, but you can't do that with techniques, can you? Tom's saying I got mine with a collar handpiece and a 6mm collar. Bought a regular handpiece for it. I'm still happy with it. I only expected a lower minimum speed.
Oh, I did miss a question. Valerie Conaway. Sorry. Thank you, Amco. Graphite crucibles. I recently purchased one. Does it require sooting before use or any other prep?
No, a graphite crucible is good out from the box.
Okay.
Your hands do get absolutely filthy dirty. You just put it. The one trick that you want to make sure, this is my graphite crucible. It's not really, it's my water bottle. But say this is your graphite crucible. Okay, that goes into your furnace. Don't get your bits of silver and drop them into the crucible because it'll crack. The bottom will just drop out of it. have the crucible at an angle and just put things in at an angle so they roll down to the bottom, then lift it up, okay? Don't go dropping things in because the shock will crack the crucible, and what you don't want is the crucible to crack. You turn it on and the whole crucible gets ruined by all the molten metal seeping out. So always hold the crucible from the side and just pour things down, put the chains in down the sides of the crucible.
Okay.
There we go.
Jimmy is saying shooting question. Did I miss a question?
Shooting question?
Shooting question. Okay. Yeah, I'm not sure. Did I miss a question, Jimmy?
Don't know. Head designer Louise, production director Andrew. Corporate titles. Yeah, we just this is a general dog's body, aren't we really? I am. I seem to do it all. Make tea, make coffee. Don't I? What?
You do not do it all.
I went across the bakery and got you a biscuit today.
Well, that doesn't take much skill, does it? Let's be fair.
Who went and made you a cup of coffee many times today?
All right, yeah.
Muggins here.
Firebird, casting a 6.5mm seashell. How do I think we did this one, didn't we? How do I make a pour channel without damaging the cast? Did we do that
We
one?
did. What size sprue? Look at the films on YouTube, and if you're at the bench member, there's loads of films on Delft clay casting. If you're a member, check out the films, go to the top, find films, come down to casting, come across Delft clay and click on that. There's loads of films on Delft clay casting. If you're not a member of At the Bench and you're on YouTube, just look up Delft clay casting. We've got a few films on there. The one that is years old that I do get a little bit of criticism for, because I just had my vlogging camera and I was like this all over the place with my vlogging camera. But how do you avoid, okay, so when you're pushing out to make a pouring channel, you've got, okay, so here's a cross section through the rings, okay? And say you have, and here's the other half, okay? Let's prompt. There we go. So here are the rings, here's your this isn't a pile of poo, this is your shell, and say your shell is three-dimensional, okay? So you've got a little bit in this ring, a little bit in that ring, okay? If you want to put your pouring channel, always put it in the section that isn't going to have, it doesn't matter if you've got too much damage, okay? So you wouldn't want to put it down here where all this detail is here. The back of the shell, and we've done this on At the Bench, Techniques from the Shore, we did some casting, and we did that in, did we do that in Delft clay or did we do that in cuttlefish? Cuttlefish, because we had the cuttlefish from the shore. So in this case, you would never push down from this direction, because when the metal rods that comes down or the drill will come into here, it'll break all this away. So what you want to do is that you need to get perhaps something like a drill or an old burr and put it in from this direction, okay? So when you push the piece of metal in, it'll come up this way, it'll make the pouring channel and it'll break out and all the outside up here will all start to crumble. What you will find when you push something in from this direction here, you'll get a little bit of sand being pushed outwards, so you may get a little ridge. What I would do is just get like a knife or a brush, just to brush away and make this section here a little bit more of a chamfer, so it does that, okay? Push through from this direction, and then once you've come through, get a knife and make a nice big pouring channel like that upon the top. So when you come to then put your silver in this direction, it'll go straight the way into your shell. And I think that should be it for today. How about that, Lou? Is that all right? Yeah?
Yeah.
I think that should be it. So
okay.
There's lots of films on Delft clay casting on At the Bench, if you remember, and there's a few films that we've done on YouTube, so go and check them out. But always, when you want to make the sprue, push from the mould side out. And don't forget a couple of little air holes as well, coming through, little channels leading to the shell as well. How about that then, Lou? Anything we need to say?
I don't think so.
Chalkwell was the one yesterday. Oh, that was you, Lou. Sorry.
Yeah, that was me, yeah.
Now we go to the beach and collect some seashells.
Yeah.
We got lots. I got a few little projects I got to make up for a customer that came in with some seashells over the next few days. Cool. So that concludes Monday's, the 15th of November's Q&A.
Penny was asking about auction houses. Yeah, it'd be interesting to see because there were some tanzanite and silver rings as well, which actually what they went for I thought was seemed cheap, but then by the time you add the auction fees onto that,
plus £20 postage,
plus £18 postage, but then if you're buying a number of things, then you absorb that across your items, don't you?
Yeah.
But if they are tanzanites, it's worthwhile ordering and taking it apart.
I think the onus then should be upon the auction house to make sure that what they're describing is right.
Well, it should be.
I know they say sold as seen, but
it's sold as described, isn't it? As well.
If you've got no way of testing those stones, they should be what they say. And if they say it's tanzanite, well, then you think that they should have actually done enough work to prove that it's tanzanite.
Yeah.
Yes, does sound a bit. But then again, you do get them. Yeah. Tanzanite and silver.
I just buy things at these auctions that I like, and then if I can't sell them, I just wear them.
You do have some lovely pieces.
I'm very lucky, yeah.
Yes. All right then. We've said everything we need to say about the workshops that are coming now, 29th.
I've forgotten I know it's the last Monday of every month.
The last Monday of every month will be when our workshops are going to be going live. So there'll only be 3 Q&As a month, and the last, what in theory should be the Q&A, is going to be our workshop starting at 2 p.m. in the afternoon, not at 4 o'clock, because the workshop's going to be lasting for 2 to 3 hours. So the last Monday of every month is going to be our regular At the Bench workshops, lasting 2 to 3 hours, start at 2 o'clock.
Great. I was just going to say, can we all say a big thanks to the At the Bench mod, but I think he's gone.
He's bored and he's fallen asleep.
Yeah. Wakey, John. And I think he has gone. Okay. Fair enough.
All right. Anything we need to say? Anything we need to look at? Anything?
I don't think
we've
so.
got. We covered.
Oh no, he's still there.
Firebird.
John is still there.
Thank you very much indeed, Firebird. I do appreciate it. And also the lights flash underneath down there as well. Firebird, you're a star. Thank you very much indeed. Really do appreciate it.
Thank you, Firebird.
Very kind. Thank you very much.
Yeah, so sorry, the mod is still there. The last Monday in December is Boxing Day. Yep, we're going to go with the penultimate Monday.
Which is the 20th.
Yeah. So it's going to be different in December, but every other workshop from then on is going to be the last Monday of every month.
Yes, absolutely.
Unless we're on holiday or something like that, but we don't go on holiday, do we? So.
Not that often. Not that often. It's always a pleasure coming to work with you, Louise.
Oh, that's very kind to say, Andrew. Safe.
The safety edge file. Was there a safety edge file question? Don't know.
I didn't notice that one. Sorry, Susan.
Who said it, Susan?
Who said it?
Who said it? And we can quickly find it by searching for their name. Louise's mic is out. Is it? Oh yeah, your battery's gone, Lou.
I'll just shout. No, it's not. Look.
No, the receiver's out.
Oh, okay.
Dum, 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 dum. What happens to you, Lou?
Oh, Mark, I'm sorry.
Go
on. Sorry, Mark. The file kits in your shop, do 1 or 2 have a safety edge?
No, but yes.
Sorry, Mark.
They do. They do. They are safety backed. So you've got the triangular ones. The profile is like that. The teeth are on this side, okay? So there's no teeth that side, no teeth that side. But there may be teeth right on the edge. So what I would always do, no matter what file I buy, if you buy triangular files, safety back files, is always rub the file on an oil stone, just to remove any sharpness on those edges there. And that is the most important thing, because then it allows you then to run the file right next to the stone. So no matter what file you buy, if you want to use it for trimming claws and bezels right next to stones, always use, it's trapped, there we go. Always use an emery paper on the edge to smooth it out, or an oil stone just to take off that edge, because even if it's the slightest bit of roughness and you happen to run against a topaz or a citrine, something like that, it is going to scratch. So always do it. Yeah, that's it. Let's go. Should we go?
Okay.
That's it. I don't know. I don't know what else to say. I'm actually speechless for a change.
Okay.
Maybe we should put some questions. Louise does a brilliant job going through the questions one at a time, but sometimes one or two do get missed, and we do apologise for that, don't we?
Sometimes as well, it jumps and it kind of like skips me to the end, and I've got to scroll all the way back and find. So yeah.
So I do apologise for that. But yeah, if you do notice that we happen to miss out, and perhaps 4 or 5 questions have gone by and yours was back at the beginning or halfway through, whenever it was, please just make us aware that there was a question, and then we can happily go back. And sometimes these things happen, isn't it?
Yeah, sometimes things do get deleted if you scroll to the top. Yeah, if you're on live chat, or it switches you to top chat. But yeah, we do our absolute best. And if I miss something, always say, yeah, I appreciate.
Yeah.
The help with
yeah, I mean, it's not as if we're missing questions out if we don't know the answers. We will do them one at a time as they come through in chronological order. Come to Arizona in February, Susan. What's happening in February?
Vicenza.
That's in January.
Oh, we can go to Tucson then.
Tucson, Arizona.
Yay.
We'll see. See what COVID's like at the time, shall we? Okay, let's go.
We have to go to Las Vegas then.
We should be going to Vegas. Hopefully Dirson will be there in June, July. Got to go to Vegas. All right then, everybody. Thank you so much for everyone coming on today. Really do appreciate it. Nice a lot of people coming on today. Thank you everybody who has come on, and thank you Firebird, David, and who was for one at the beginning. Do appreciate the my phone's buzzing. The super chats, really do appreciate it. Martin, that was the other. Martin, thank you very much for that. That's it. Should we go, Louise?
Yeah.
What's for tea? Oh, fish cakes.
Yeah.
Melt in the middle. Fish cakes.
Normally
Why? Because you did the shopping this week.
I did the shopping this week, so we had melt in the middle fish cakes, not the cheap ones you normally buy. We've got Kylie Minogue wine, which was very nice.
Kylie Minogue Prosecco.
Prosecco. Like Kylie Minogue. Like the wine as well. You said it wasn't that special, but I thought it was good enough for Kylie.
It's good enough for Louise.
So there we are.
Take out a big loan before going to Tucson. Oh. Louise will be there with a loop.
Oh my gosh.
Let's go.
Okay.
Thank you everyone for coming on today. Really do appreciate it. I think we got round to everybody's questions. As I said, if we do miss them out, please just make us aware and we will certainly go back to them. Thank you for all the likes. Like this film, give it a ding, a thumbs up, and don't forget, please like and share it with your friends.
You haven't done that for a while, have you?
I have done actually. Not on the lives. Don't forget, smash the little bell icon on the edge to be notified when it's live. But we don't do that. We will see you all next week, 22nd of November. Wow, I can't believe how fast this year's going.
We need to get instructions out from people or information about the
workshops.
Do we know what the first topic is going to be?
Of course we don't, Louise.
Okay, so how can we determine a topic?
I don't know.
Can you guys send me your ideas?
Yes, message Louise. Tell her what you want to see. We got loads. We got loads of ideas. We've got lots of ideas. But what do you want the first workshop to be? Let us know. Message, and Louise will kill me for this as Louise. LOUISE at Andrew Berry always run out of things. There we go. Okay, so don't forget, Louise at andrewberry.co.uk. Let us know what you want to see on our workshops and see if they coincide with what we've got planned.
Yeah, we can base it around.
Yeah, base it around what you guys wanted, and that is what the whole idea of these workshops is.
Yeah, it's for you, isn't it? It's your workshop.
You tell us what you want, and we'll happily do that for you. The next 12-hour is not happening at the moment because we just don't have time, I'm afraid, Michael. Really don't have time.
But there will be another one at some point.
At some point, yes.
In the future, yeah.
Yes. And Joe, we will be doing about piercing, and I will be advising against adjustables. But if you have an adjustable, get on with it, that's fine. That's not a problem. Chinese drill motors, yeah. Should we go?
Yeah, we should, shouldn't we? Okay.
Thank you, everyone.
Saying our welcome then.
Do appreciate it. We will see you all next week, the 22nd of November, for the next Q&A. It'll be the last Q&A until December, because the last Monday of each month is going to be our workshops. Now that'd be pretty cool, actually, buying adjustable saw frames and making them into coat hooks. Or I'll tell you what, the best thing to do with adjustable saw frames, Louise,
What?
make them into those boot scrapers. You scrape all the dirt off. Right. On that note, I'm going to go. Say bye, Louise. Yeah. Okay. Thank you, everyone.
I like them.
A 12. Oh, do you know what? That'd be an awesome, Michael. A 12-hour solder special. Oh, my idea of heaven.
Oh my God, you're so sad.
On that note, we're going to go, and we will see you next Monday for a Q&A. Take care, everybody. Have a nice week. Bye-bye for now.